Good evening. You're now with me, Radzi Ahmad, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The federal court has fixed March 16 to decide whether national oil giant Petronas will be granted leave to seek clarity on the regulatory framework governing its operations in Sarawak. The move comes as the energy titan navigates a recent clash with the state government that could redefine the power balance over the region's vast natural resources.
On January 12, Petronas filed the motion in Putrajaya, seeking the court's determination on the legal position applicable to its operations in Sarawak to ensure compliance with relevant laws and good governance practices. While the company insists it is not challenging Sarawak's development goals or the role of the state-owned utility Petros, it admits that negotiations have hit a wall over regulatory uncertainties. The dispute hinges on Sarawak's distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016. Under this state law, Sarawak asserts that Petronas must obtain state licenses to operate. However, Petronas argues that under the 1974 Petroleum Development Act, it already holds the sole authority to manage the nation's hydrocarbons. In a related development, a separate hearing at the Kuching High Court involving a 7.95 million ringgit bank guarantee dispute between Petros and Petronas has been postponed to February 26. Petros claims the enforcement was improper because Petronas lacked a valid state license. Meanwhile, 5 Petronas subsidiaries will be back in court on February 6, fighting 120 million ringgit in penalties imposed by the state for operating without those very licenses.
Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Joritun Openg has been honored with the Sustainability Visionary Award by the United Nations Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei. The award recognizes his leadership in driving high-impact sustainable development locally and globally. It was presented by UNGC Malaysia Brunei Executive Director Faros Nadar at an appreciation ceremony in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday.
Abang Johari described the recognition as reflecting strong institutions and collective leadership, not personal achievement.
I received the Sustainability Visionary Award this evening with deep humility, not as a personal achievement, but as a reflection of what is possible when leadership is supported by strong institutions, committed public servants, and partners who believe that sustainability must be translated into action.
He also said that Sarawak's progress is driven by teamwork across ministries and agencies to balance economic growth with environmental protection and social responsibility.
I want to be very clear. None of this would be possible without the institution that do the hard work of enabling implementation.
At the same event, the Sarawak Ministry of Energy and Environmental Sustainability won the Forward Faster Sustainability Nexus Award, while Sarawak Energy clinched the Climate Action Category Award.
Good governance and the fight against corruption are clear proof that sustainability is impossible without integrity. Abang Johari said this is especially evident in today's global economic climate, where investors no longer look only at profits, but also at how those profits are made.
According to Abang Johari, organizations that earn recognition show that trust has been positioned as a strategic asset to drive growth.
We cannot build a green future that leaves people behind. Companies that invest in dignity, fairness, and inclusion are the companies that retain talent, strengthen productivity, and remain competitive in a rapidly changing world. The same principle applies to community engagement. Businesses do not exist in isolation.
Meanwhile, Abang Johari said Malaysia, one of the world's mega-diverse nations, must place environmental conservation at the heart of its national assets. He stressed that Malaysia, particularly Borneo with its rich biodiversity, must see rainforests, rivers and ecosystems not as barriers to development, but as drivers of sustainable growth.
Climate action addresses carbon, but nature action protects entire ecosystem. The organization recognized tonight understand that environmental stewardship is not about compliance alone. It is about resilience, risk management, and long-term value creation.
Authorities in Sarawak are on high alert as a deadly outbreak of the Nipah virus surfaces in India. Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah says the government is monitoring the situation in Assam, where cases are concentrated. While the threat level is not yet critical, Abdul Karim is calling for proactive screenings at all international gateways to prevent a local spillover.
The surge in vigilance comes as Malaysia prepares for the 2026 Visit Malaysia year. With a massive influx of tourists expected, Abdul Karim warns that an unrestricted open-door policy poses a significant risk to public health. He is urging the Health Ministry and the State Disaster Management Committee to draw on Malaysia's past experience with the virus to stay ahead of the curve.
Kementerian Kesihatan dan juga NADMA, kalau di Sarawak SDMC, mereka patut berwaspada, menjaga-jaga keadaan seperti ini. Kerana ini adalah tahun melawat Malaysia. Kita berharap untuk melihat ramai pengunjung datang. Dan kalau pengunjung tu datang dan ini membawa musibah kepada kita, kita mesti khawatir juga. Jangan semua terima dan ini kita menghadapi masalah. Kalau terima pun dari tempat-tempat yang dikenal pasti sudah merebaknya virus Nipah ni. Sepatutnya ada pengawalan sedikit.
Abdul Karim notes that neighbouring Southeast Asian nations, including Thailand, are already implementing temperature checks for travellers arriving from affected regions. He maintains that while travel should continue, it must be supported by rigorous monitoring to ensure the safety of the public and the tourism sector alike.
The Education Ministry is launching a massive recruitment drive for 20,000 grade DG 29 teachers on a contract basis starting March 2nd. Education Minister Fadlina Sidek says the initiative serves as a foundational step for the upcoming Malaysia Education Plan 2026 to 2035. It also supports the new voluntary enrollment policy for 6-year-olds entering Year 1 next year. Fadlina also said that the surge in manpower is vital to ensuring the education system can cope with an expected increase in student enrollment. To maintain high pedagogical standards, all successful candidates will undergo professional training at the Institute of Teacher Education. Qualified applicants are invited to submit their applications through the official ministry portal between March 2nd and March 20th. Turkey's top diplomat today is urging Washington to resist Israeli pressure to launch a military strike on Iran, warning it would cause great harm to a fragile region. Weeks after toppling Venezuela's leader, U.S. President Donald Trump is turning to a similar playbook on Iran, sending what he calls an armada near its shores and warning an unpopular government.
ABD'yi İran askeri saldırı yapmaya ikna etmeye çalıştığını da görmekteyiz. İsrail'in bu çabaları bölgemizin kırılgan durumdaki istikrarına büyük zarar verme potansiyeli taşımaktadır. ABD yönetiminin sağduyuyla hareket ederek buna fırsat vermeyeceğini ümit ediyoruz. İsrail bölgedeki istikrarsızlaştırma politikalarına son vermelidir.
Trump has been emboldened on multiple fronts by the tactical success in Venezuela, but Iran presents far more complexities. After U.S. commandos snatched Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, Trump has leaned on his successor, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, threatening new attacks if she does not comply with his wishes, starting with access to the country's oil. As with Maduro, a core principle of Tehran's clerical leadership is resistance to the US, but there are fewer signs of cracks in the state. The Islamic Republic relies on the elite Revolutionary Guards, who in recent weeks have ruthlessly put down mass protests, killing thousands.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday said that Hamas would give up weapons, a step the militants have not confirmed, and what would be a major step forward in a fragile ceasefire with Israel. Trump hailed cooperation with Hamas after Israeli forces brought back the remains from the last hostage held in Gaza, Ran Gavili.
And now we want to get Hamas no guns, right?
Right, they're going to give it up. They're going to give up the AK-47s.
A lot of people said they'll never disarm. Looks like they're going to disarm. And they did help us with those bodies, getting them back.
Trump had asked for an update on the Middle East from his roving special envoy Steve Witkoff, sitting in the side of the room as cabinet members and media listened. An upbeat Witkoff voiced high confidence at Hamas following through. Hamas has said that the return of Givili's body showed its commitment to the ceasefire, but it has so far not surrendered its weapons. The group has repeatedly said disarmament is a red line, but it has also suggested it will be open to handing over its weapons to a Palestinian governing authority. Disarmament is a key part in the second phase of the ceasefire plan sealed in October. A Palestinian technocratic committee has also been set up with a goal of taking over governance in the battered Gaza Strip.
Asian stocks took a hit today amid fresh worries over vast investments in artificial intelligence. Gold and silver tumbled after hitting multiple record highs, and oil retreated on hopes for an easing of U.S.-Iran tensions. The markets have endured a roller coaster ride this week as traders weathered a weaker dollar, Donald Trump's threats against Tehran, a resumption of tariff warnings, and a possible U.S. government shutdown.
Fresh optimism in the tech sector about the future of AI has provided support. However, with healthy earnings from companies including Meta, Samsung and SK Hynix providing much cheer. However, the positivity took a hit on Thursday after Microsoft announced a surge in spending on AI infrastructure and revived concerns that companies could take some time before seeing a return on their investments. There are also fears that firms' valuations may be a little too stretched and markets could be in a bubble, having soared in recent years to record highs on the back of a tech-fueled rally. Microsoft suffered its worst session since the COVID-era crash, falling 12% and accounting for over two-thirds of the S&P 500's decline. Wall Street ended mostly in the red, with the Dow the only advancer. Asia also struggled. Hong Kong, Shanghai, Tokyo, Sydney, Singapore, Taipei and Bangkok were all down, while Seoul, Manila and Wellington rose. Jakarta rose after a two-day rout sparked by index compiler MSCI, calling on regulators to look into ownership concerns.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.